The country of Iceland is uniquely located on the mid-Atlantic ridge, which separates the tectonic plate of North America from the Eurasian plate. My mission, to explore the extreme natural forces of this, the land of fire and ice.
Iceland is not only the geothermal capital of the world, it's also one of the best places to experience extreme heat, cold, and wind. Even the vehicles here are extreme. The remote island of Iceland is one of the great dichotomies of our angry planet. It's at once freezing cold and boiling hot, incredibly tranquil and suddenly violent, inescapably bleak and remarkably hopeful. Iceland is about energy. The energy of its people and the seemingly endless volcanic heat that pours out of the frigid landscape. You would think that such an isolated place would be cut off from the rest of the world, behind the times. But Iceland is a technologically advanced country, recognized as a world leader in tapping the tremendous energy potential deep underground. The people of Iceland have become very good at harnessing the volcanic energy that lies beneath their island. They pump volcanically heated water up and then out to all the cities to provide hot water for the houses. Icelanders get almost all their power from either geothermal or hydroelectric stations. The one behind me is a geothermal station, and it pumps hot water to the surrounding towns and up to Reykjavik, which is 40 kilometers away. Over the last 2 decades, scientists and engineers here have developed technology that has shrunk Iceland's carbon footprint enormously. To understand this transformation better, I thought I should go right to the top. So I went to see the President of Iceland to talk about his country's remarkable conversion to clean energy.
It is a very interesting change. When I was a young boy in the western part of Iceland, over 80% of the entire economy was driven by oil or coal. And within my lifetime, Iceland has been transformed into the leading clean energy country in the world. 100% of our electricity is produced from clean energy resources, and it's a global record. We learn about it in schools, that inside the earth there is this big fireball, and then we forget it until you come to Iceland and you realize how that fireball can be harnessed in a big way. This all came about because the town council in a small fishing town nearby, Grindavik, 7 people, fishermen and the workers in the fishing plants, agreed some decades ago that they wanted hot water for their houses. And maybe they should go out there in the lava and start drilling and see what came up. Out of that, we now have this globally phenomenal geothermal power plant, which is among the leading clean energy power plants in the world.
Although geothermal power is not new, the success story here has renewed worldwide interest in the potential of it for smaller and developing countries.
Iceland 50, 60 years ago was a poor country of farmers and fishermen. And if somebody had predicted then that such a country could, within the life of one generation, transform itself in such a way, everybody would have said it's impossible, it can't be done. And I often say that if we could do it, so can others.
I want to get a closer look at this incredible technology. This is the Sengi Geothermal Power Station. This generator provides 45 megawatts of electricity as well as hot water heating to thousands of homes in the region. It's a complicated process, but engineers have found ways to do it in a straightforward and economical manner. So what is geothermal power anyway? Well, the Earth volcanically heats seawater here. That seawater and steam gets pumped up, comes over here and drives a turbine. That supplies power to the Icelanders. As a byproduct of this whole generation process, cooler water gets pumped back out, and some of that gets mixed with seawater and fed to the Blue Lagoon. And what is the Blue Lagoon? A byproduct of the power plant is mineral-rich water, heated to a soothing 40 degrees Celsius. Sounds perfect for a spa, perhaps. Well, the people here thought so too. And so, the Blue Lagoon baths were developed. They attract people from all over the world, seeking the medicinal properties thought to exist in these waters. The silica found in the water is used as a skin mud mask. But if nothing else, it certainly is unique.
One really cool thing about this place, you can sit in the nice warm water. There's still snow in the mountains.
Iceland's Blue Lagoon is famous all over the world for its soothing properties. Just what I need for my weary, jet-lagged body. I think I'm gonna soak here for a little while and then explore some of the more extreme aspects of Iceland.
I'd better get all the rest I can. I'm going to need it.
Whoa! Okay, just to give you a little idea of what it's like here in Iceland, here's my hotel room. Nice, but not too fancy. But here's the kicker. It's the view outside. It is so bizarre. It's a sea of volcanic rock and moss that just goes on and on.
The interior of Iceland is, for the most part, uninhabited. It's also where many spectacular natural wonders are. So today, I'm headed for the Icelandic Wilderness, where more evidence of this country's geothermal bonanza literally boils up.
This whole area is pockmarked with hot water pools, steam vents like this one, and of course, Iceland's famous geysers. Iceland is well known for its geysers, and this particular one, called the geyser, which actually gave its name to all geysers in the world, it hasn't been erupting very regularly since an earthquake in 2000. Now, Strókr, which is just over in the field behind me, it erupts on a continuous basis, and that's the one that I'm really interested in.
These geysers are among the largest in the world.
There we go. I cannot recommend anyone getting this close to a geyser because it's very, very dangerous. I've been watching it and timing it. I'll step back when it gets time to erupt. Just want to get in close for a couple pictures. Whoa! That's amazing. There, that shows you exactly how unpredictable these geysers can be. You can time it, try and get it down to the minute, but it'll go when it wants to go.
There are many parts of Iceland where a regular car just won't cut it. What you need out here is one of these Icelandic super Jeeps, and they are super. I gotta get me one of these.
These incredible machines are not for taking the kids to soccer practice. They're built like tanks, with massively oversized tires, industrial strength suspension, and enough horsepower to get through anything. And I mean anything.
Now that's a toy.
Woohoo!
Getting around in Iceland is not like driving to the grocery store.
There's a reason people here spend a fortune souping up these rigs. This is a great vehicle for getting around the Icelandic countryside. This, not so much.
So what do we got going on here? What happened?
They drove past the closed road sign.
And you need a super Jeep for that.
Yes.
You've got one.
Yeah.
They don't.
This is the road for me, not for him.
So here's what happens when you come to Iceland and you don't have the proper vehicle. Super Jeep, no problem. Regular rental car, stuck.
Getting caught, unprepared for your surroundings, can be a little humiliating. Not to mention, downright dangerous in these weather conditions. As I travel across this country, I see more evidence that Iceland's geothermal energy program is having an enormously positive environmental impact. Not only has it dramatically reduced carbon emissions, but geothermal has allowed for the preservation of some of Iceland's most spectacular natural wonders. The glaciers here produce many incredible waterfalls, which are obviously attractive for the development of hydroelectric power generation. But pressure from environmentalists and the vast capacity of geothermal have, hopefully, encouraged the preservation of this landscape forever. Imagine, 1,000 years from now, others enjoying this awesome sight as much as I am.
Here's another dramatic example of the forces of nature at work here. This is Guðfoss, which translates from Icelandic meaning golden waterfall. Now this is glacial-fed, freezing cold water. You do not want to get too close to the edge and stumble in.
What a treat to see this pristine natural area. I leave the frozen gray glacier behind, and after just a short drive, it's like I'm in another world with its own weather system.
Wherever I travel, people say, George, if you don't like the weather, just wait 15 minutes, it'll change. But when people say it here, I think they really do mean it. It's remarkable. 1 minute, white out, next minute, beautiful blue sky.
This country has some of the most rugged landscape I've ever encountered.
While up in the highlands, winter conditions are still persisting. Down here along the coastline, you can see that the spring runoff has already begun. This meltwater is coming off the glacier, over the cliff, and is headed for the sea.
And so am I, as I travel to the tiny island of Haimaey, the site of one of the worst natural disasters in Icelandic history.
Okay, so I'm now on the ferry to Haimaey Island, and it's a bit stormy today. The Atlantic's a bit rough. This is the North Atlantic. Cold, windy, and a bit choppy.
Windy is a bit of an understatement. 7 kilometers off the southern tip of Iceland, Haimaey Island is exposed to the full force of the Atlantic Ocean. When I arrive on the island, I experience powerful winds, almost as strong as some hurricanes I've been in.
So this is the southern tip of Haimaey Island. It's the windiest place in all of Iceland. 70 kilometers an hour, pretty much sustained. So easily up into the tropical storm force wind category here.
Now I'm heading for the town of Haimaey, where in 1973, it was the Earth that unleashed its fury. January 23rd, 2 a.m. Completely without warning, the dormant Eldfett volcano violently erupted. A 3-kilometer wide fissure opened up in the earth and outpoured red-hot lava, 100 cubic meters per second. Amazingly calm and well-organized, the townspeople and emergency services mobilized within minutes to mount the largest air-sea evacuation in Icelandic history. "5,000 people were transported off the island in a matter of hours as the flowing lava and tons of volcanic ash began burying the town. Once the citizens were safely off the island, the major threat was to Haimaey's lifeblood, the harbor. The massive lava flows threatened to seal off the channel entrance. A plan was devised to stop the flow by cooling the lava with seawater. For months, millions of gallons of cold water were pumped onto the lava. Eventually, the Icelanders stopped the flow. And Haimaey thrives today, 20% larger than before.
All this land is new rock that came from the volcano. Now, in some spots, it's 150 meters thick. I'm standing in what's left of someone's living room. This house got almost completely buried in 1973 when the lava came down the mountain, taking out most of the town. This lava flow would not have been very rapid at all. It actually would have been more like a tank tread, slowly rolling downhill with bits of incandescent rocks, very, very hot, rolling off the front, cooling, hardening, and this whole thing would have just slowly slid forward for months.
As I make my way up to explore the top of the volcano, Murphy's Law kicks in.
Oh no.
There's never a super Jeep around when you need one.
Okay, the car has sort of bottomed out.
So I finished the trek on foot, up to the dormant crater that was, only a relatively short time ago, an inferno. Today, the big danger is getting blown off the mountain.
Woo! Here's the crater of the volcano. This is the source of all the lava that flowed into town. It's so unbelievably windy right now. Ah! It really is like hell on earth, another planet entirely.
Now, my Icelandic adventure switches from molten rock to a frozen iceberg.
All right. I'm here at the Vatnajokull Glacier, which is not only the biggest glacier in Iceland, but the biggest glacier in Europe. And the lagoon here is a place where icebergs are born. The ice comes off the glacier and then flows out to sea. My plan right now is to actually get out there and climb on one of these icebergs.
The first thing I need to do is take the kayak out into the lagoon and first do a bit of a navigation around the iceberg to see if I can physically actually get up onto it with ice tools and climb on it. Right now, I don't even know if I can do that, so this is the first test.
It has always been on my wish list to climb one of these giant icebergs. Wow, it looks like there might be a way on, but the quality of the ice is bad. But I'm gonna go for it.
All right, time to get rocking. The goal? To explore that iceberg right there.
The most important thing is to stay out of the water. I wouldn't last long in there. This ice is so fragile, it's like climbing on a chandelier. I have to calculate every move on this very unstable surface. After some tricky maneuvers, I have another adventure to cross off my list.
Yeah! The summit, that's where I want it to be. Right on top.
The ruggedness and incredible natural beauty of this country is exhilarating and inspiring. The people of Iceland have proven that no matter how small you are, you can change the course of our planet.
Iceland provides a very important message to the rest of the world, that it is in fact possible with the right policies and the right encouragements and the right vision to transform the energy systems of all nations in a fundamental way in order to prevent climate change and the disastrous effects which it will bring.